How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Pace Studio here in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. We are really, really lucky to be joined by Songhoy Blues, who's coming and visit us today to play some music from their new album. Guys, thank you so much for coming and playing for us today.
You're welcome.
So you guys, you have a new record. It came out in June. It's called Resistance. And it's a great record, and there's a lot of great material on it that we can talk about later. But right now, tell us about the first song that you're going to play for us today.
The first song is called Al-Haku, which is in Songhoy language. Al-Haku mean like the relation between right and duty for human, like the relation between you and the people who live next door to you, the relation between husband and wife, the relation between kids and mom, the relation between boss and the people and the employer. So all of that balance we need in the society to go through a lot of troubles. So we have to give each other some support. We have to give each other respect. We have to be respectful for each other, which is basically Al-Haku.
Okay. Sounds good. Whenever you're ready.
Wabaya la kusigaraundi. Wabaya la kusigaraundi. Ala kusibodi waramabai. Ala kusigaraundi. Ala kusibodi waramabai. Ala kusigaraundi. Bala ijambe aida ndajeragame. Ala kusigaraundi. Dalkanda bomboyini ndajeragame. Ala kusigaraundi. Wala dalami kanda jeregame. Ala kusigaraundi. Ala kusibodi waramabi. Ala kusigaraundi. Ala kusibodi waramabi. Ala kusigaraundi. Danna yanda lakal yanda jeregame toro. Ala kukoko jalbalaw. Wabaya ala kusigaraundi. Wabaya la kusigaraundi. Sungai wani ngara sara shito. Sungai wani ngara jingare jani shito. Irmasi jara banga waramabai. Ala kusigaraundi. Irmasi jara dorandi waramabai. Ala kusigaraundi. Irmasi jara banga waramabai. Ala kusigaraundi. Ala kusibodi waramabai. Ala kusigaraundi. Ala kusibodi waramabai. Ala kusigaraundi. Danna yanda lakal yarna jaragame toro. Ala kukoko jalbalaw. Gadumuni wai mabanara mana wai sabana. Gadumuni wai mabanara mana wai sabana. Dangani arme alman mana wai sabana. Dangani arme alman mana wai sabana. Ala kusibodi waramabai. Ala kusigaraundi. Ala Badia na kusigarondi Nana yenda la kandi Yarna jara game soro Alagu koko jalo balaw
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
That sounds great. So I wanted to ask you guys about. There's an amazing story behind how your band started. You guys were from the northern part of Mali, and a few years ago, when some jihadists basically took over that part of the country, you had to go south, and you landed in the capital, right? Yeah, in Bamako. At that point, you started this band. What led you at that point in your lives to that was what you wanted to do when you left where you were from? Why did you start this band as the thing that you did?
I mean, when we first arrived to Bamako, like, well, we all had that dream, which is to do a career in music, to be an artist. That was a dream for every single one of us because we all been in a band before or do some stuff in music before the Songhoy Blues.
Yeah.
So the thing with Songhoy Blues is when that thing happened in 2012, we didn't know what's gonna happen in Bamako. We didn't even know if we're gonna meet each other.
Yeah.
So we always ask ourselves that question: if that didn't happen, Songhoy Blues might not been able to born.
Yeah.
So when we met, we just start to hang out together, meet in the pub, jam together, and like it was like a mercenary team. Just when we need each other to go through a situation, to jam together or to do a wedding, is when we meet and we play together. And on the top of that, we just sit down and said, listen guys, people love what we're doing now. So maybe why not try to do something like something special, something physical for ourselves.
Yeah.
And not just jam and cover people's tracks. Why not write our own tracks? So it's how we start to build the story together.
Right. Were you all fans of the same kind of music when you were growing up? Did you find that you were interested in the same kind of music?
Yeah, exactly. That was the principal link who bring us together, because first of all we all had the same dream to be a musician, to travel around the world, and we all listen to the same kind of music, which is Malian desert blues, Malian, everything about Mali music, and also some Western music as well.
Yeah.
Through internet, through clubs, through radio and TVs. And also, we have the same taste of music.
Yeah.
So that make the story work very well together, yeah.
So you, in terms of the Western music, I know you Ali Farka Touré was a huge musician from Mali, and I think had a big influence on your music. But I know that he said that there was a very deep connection between Malian music, traditional Malian music, and the blues music of America, going back many, many years. Was that something that you listened to a lot growing up? Did you see that connection when you were younger and you were listening to music as you were getting older? That connection between American and Mali music? Yeah,
that connection, when you live somewhere like in Mali, in the north of Mali, and it's not that easy to find that connection. But when we start travel around the world and to listen to a couple of American blues, like the old American blues, a few weeks ago, we discovered a guy called Junior Kimbrough, which is a huge blues player.
Yeah.
Like, when I first listened to his music, it sounded exactly like Ali Farka. I was like, maybe Farka did hear some of this guy's track, or this guy's heard some of Farka's track. Like, I don't know who heard each other, but they seems each other. They sounds each other. So it's they are very connected. So basically from the story, Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. One thing that I noticed, your music is very joyful, very upbeat, and it's a happy music. It's a dance music. A lot of blues music that was made in America, especially older blues music, is very sad and a little bit darker. Is that something that you recognize in your music as being different?
That's come from the generation we are from. The American blue, you're talking about the sadness we have behind that blues, which means that blues was born from a sad situation at that moment. And also, our band was born from a sad situation as well,
right?
But from different generation. And we are very young guys. We are very young peoples, and we're making our music exactly like we feel it, and it's exactly with the energy we put the energy, the youngest energy we have in our heart and soul to make people move around us in Mali. When you go down the street in Mali or wherever in Africa, you will see like the young kid dancing down the street. Like people just put big, huge speakers down the street and start play and start. That's never happened here. It's not the case. When you want to do something down the street, you have to write a demand to the government to ask authorization to do this, to do that. There, people have that freedom to enjoy. And kids always play down the street. So we're also using that freedom and put that in our music, which is that very crazy way of African music, like the percussion, the vibration, the move, and the joyful of music.
Yeah, cool, man. So tell us a little bit about the second song that you're going to do for us today from Resistance. What's this next song?
The second song is called Mali North. Mali North. It talk about the north of Mali. When the situation we've been talking about earlier happened in 2012 till 13, it's thousands and thousands of people who has to move from the north to the different countries around Mali. And also, most of them, like young peoples and also some women and with babies, has to cross this desert to go to Libya and cross the ocean to come to Europe. So we ask ourselves, if that didn't happen in Mali or wherever in Africa, those people never gonna need to move from their hometown. Right. I think it's no one's choice to cross the Sahara, 1,000 kilometers by walk, or the ocean. Like, it's just a crazy thing, but we need to talk about. And also, the thousands and thousands kids in the different refugee camp who doesn't have something to eat. Some of them don't have somewhere to stay. Some of them never go to school. And they have a right to go to school, like all the kids around the world. So this is something, very sad situation, because we know some of them. We have a friend there. So we have to talk about, and everywhere around the world, people have to hear about that. And if someone can do something for that people's, please do it.
Okay, whenever you're ready, please.
Nord di Mali, Erkani gare Nord di Mali, Ermagui Nord di Mali, Erka Uyego Nord di Mali, Ermagui Nord di Mali, Erkani gare Nord di Mali, Ermagui Nord di Mali, Erka Uyego Nord di Mali. irizeji majo radical zunjiben argundere ivudu irfaranda ngare bobo watikul kala sara binaga madam yerma koi nordi mali yerkau yago nordi mali yerma koi nordi mali yerkau yago nordi mali afoyo kwenda alger afoyo go burkina afoyo kwenda niger Irbunda maravude irizeji majo bati kullu zumjiben argundere vudu irfaranda ngare bobo wati kul kala sara gina madam yerma koi nordi mali yerkani gare nordi mali yerma koi nordi mali yerkau yego nordi mali afoyo kwenda libi afoyo kwenda kale afoyo kwenda niger mais trop de choses à dire mais y'en a faire que ça pue on sait quoi en affaire akan warsamara kan wasirka jumba harwasi akan wasawara kan wasirka jumba harwasi jisir su jansi ahonde sendese onde baya sendese afoya sinda kanido afoya sinda gorado afoya sinda kaido afoya sinda ngado jise avo agar mai ma voyene ai voy mai voyene ai voy jere voyene avo nyangai voyene wai kanjin ni dullora voyene afoyo kwenda libi dauda sunga afoyo na demo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sounds great. So I'm wondering about your new record is called Resistance. It came out in June. Your first album that came out 2 years ago was called Music in Exile, and it was made after you left your home and settled in Bamako. So this album is called Resistance. How have things changed for you in those 2 years in terms of how you made your first album and what you want to say with this album now?
Yeah, from Music in Exile, the first album, to Resistance, the second album, it's like it's a long way of continuity between the two albums, because in terms of music, like we've been traveling a lot, and we meet such a great musicians. We listen to a lot of kind of music and a lot of kind of production, effect, and all of that stuff help a lot to build more the experience we get around the world and show how music can work, different type of musics around the world can work together. It doesn't matter. We are from Africa, we sing in African language, but also we can use some different type of music and effect to build that music we're making. That is the way we've been working and write also our music since the first album. Why I said it's also a continuity of the first album, it's because the link of the story. The first album is called The Music in Exile, because of this background story before behind the band, behind the music we write, behind our lyrics. So after 2 years, what's going on in Mali? What's going on in Africa? What's going on in the world? Did the situation have been changed since then? So we've been asking a lot of questions before we get that name for the new album. So we just realized through the actuality that in Mali right now, where we are from, because the name of the first album comes from there, so we have a new type of things going on there. It's like the next level of the exile, when thousands and thousands of people have to move from their hometown to come to the south to stay for another peoples, to stay with another peoples, to stay to change their job, that make a lot of things happen, you know. And after 2 years, people was like, just like, we can't hold it anymore. Things have to change. It's like every single week you can see thousands and thousands of people down the street protest. They protest against things going on, against the jihadist guy, against the separatists, against rebel, against the government, against everything. So all of that situation make us think like, okay, something's going on now. It's like the next level. People are resisting. So what about call the album Resistance? Because we always write about actuality, what's going on around us. So we are in the resistance setup now. Let's talk about that, and that's it.
All right. Are you gonna do one more song for us from Resistance?
Yeah, one more song from Resistance called Sahara. That track, we made that track with a legendary guy, Iggy Pop, and he made a great, like, he's a proper legend. We never realized we can one day record something with someone like Iggy.
Yeah.
And he made it. And we wrote this song about, again, what's going on there. Because most of the people think that the Sahara is also about what people saw on the TV, like the bad news.
Yeah.
Don't go there. People are fighting there. Like, we have to say something. People are fighting every single where in the world, even in New York. What happened here in 2001? So, but a billion and billion people still want to get visa to come in New York. And it's the same in Paris if you go there. It's the same in London if you go there. It's the same every single where. So why, when someone just want to get on the plane from here to go to Mali, people say, don't go, it's not safe, it's not this, not that. Like, it's wrong. We have to help each other. It's like we said in Africa, when your friend invite you to eat honey, when you saw him one day eating a chili, you have to help him as well to eat his chili. That is the way things have to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful.
Barkanga ba madirir makwai berai na karama godoti Barkanga ba madirir makwai na nai da kai fi godoti Nidanga jote amanga bazara Dirir makwai agar me na nai da da kai fi godoti Sahara 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 Barkan mana di Sahara Bai kama Sahara Dauta su panna panna ya ga Una digo sandu amma una digo kan Iye ami fe Sara yang kuna wolo ami fe Sara yang kuna wolo Sahara, 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 Barkan mana di Sahara, baik sama Sahara. Ah, oh. Listen, music from the desert, and you can hear it. Salmon El Dorado, Salmon El Dorado, Salmon El Dorado, Salmon El Dorado. Thank you. You will be more than welcome in the Sahara.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So the new album is called Resistance. You guys are going on tour. You are on tour. I know you have I think a show coming up Thursday in Washington D.C.
Yep.
And then more to come.
And Friday night, the next night, in New York here. And it's gonna keep going. We have like one month tour in US, around US. Yeah, we've been Austin, everywhere, San Francisco. Yeah.
All around the
LA.
country, and then into 2018 or up to into December, I think, is your tour. Yeah.
Yeah, until the end of this year, it's gonna be tour.
Yeah. Could you do me a favor and introduce each member of the band? You're Alio Toure,
Yeah,
I
I'm
believe.
Aliou.
I'm
He's,
Garba.
Garba Toure.
Nathaniel on drum.
I'm Omar, bass.
You know, one thing I have to ask, because I love guitar and guitar playing. And, you know, so the style of guitar and bass as well. You know, when you guys are growing up in Mali, you were listening to what, like Jimi Hendrix and old sort of American blues players?
Yes.
And then you combine with the sounds of Malian music. Is that a natural connection for you to make?
Yo, you know, since the beginning of the mission, you had to say we have a big similarity in Malian music and American music. Music. Sometimes when we listen for some American musician, it's like we feel like Malian musicians play.
Yeah.
We have a big similarity in the two country with different style of two country.
So it
music,
was easy or not easy, but it was natural for you to combine the two styles, American blues guitar and Malian guitar. They have a real relationship.
You know, cause somebody said American music, the roots come from Africa.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's maybe something very very strange. You don't know why. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had to ask because I love the guitar playing is really fantastic, and I'm a big fan of guitar. So.
Oh, thanks.
So anyway, the album is called Resistance, and it's a wonderful album. And congratulations on its release, and congratulations on the tour. And best of luck on the road. And please come back to Paste anytime and play for us again in the future.
Let us know anytime you need us.
Yeah. How about tomorrow?
Let's see you.
Yeah,
Why not?
You can stay here. We'll bring in food. Everyone
You
can
have
eat.
a bed?
Yeah, we have couches, pillows, everything.
problem.
You have a
No
blanket,
problem.
you can use.
Yeah,
So
no problem.
All right, sounds good, man. All right. Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Thanks.
See you next.